ever wondered how people become entrepreneurs? How they make money without having a 9 to 5? What about the people that have made their money, acquired millions? How do they continue to have their money work for them? Knowledge is power, my people. Unfortunately, most people aren't too fond of sharing such information without a cost. So here it is for free. All I ask in return is that you pay it forward, share this info with others. This is Marla Nicole, and you're listening to Business Bullish, where we cover business and money matters from start to finish. You can find me on Instagram at Miss Marla Nicole with an MS Marla Nicole, or at www.marlanicole.com. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
All right. So we have TC in the house. TC, thank you very much for joining us. I keep my mug with me and take a sip.
All right. I got my little water. I'm on a little quarantine water situation right now.
Water is always good. Never too much water. So clearly I like to talk about business and investing like I told you before. And you are a business owner.
Correct.
And this is not your first business.
No, it's not.
So that's a big deal. I'm not gonna ask you to tell everybody how old you are, but you look like 10 right now in this.
Thank you. I actually tried to comb my hair, and I do have on not the I have basketball shorts on under this, so I actually tried to look like somebody for this. So I appreciate that.
Basketball is always good. My number one sport, definitely. But so again, you're a business owner and restaurant industry. That is a tough business. I know you've heard people say that probably from the first time you started it, but clearly you've got the confidence and have been able to do it successfully. Why did you go into business instead of going to work at a restaurant? Like, what is it about business ownership that got you?
Well, I initially started my career in corporate America. So, I did not make the transition, super early. I know a lot of people kind of, struggle with that same, concept of having that guaranteed income and taking the risk of, going into entrepreneurship. So, I sit here as somebody who stayed with the company for 13 years. I was in corporate America. I started at the bottom, in sales, and then worked my way up. And, the transition for me wasn't an easy one. It was a calculated one. I took, a promotion to come to Los Angeles because I wanted to be here. I spent a tremendous amount of time in Atlanta where I felt like I had kind of outgrown myself there. And I wanted to be here. So I used the company to get me here, and then, had other plans to transition. So, I did not make that decision just one day. I had a plan. I had some financial goals that I know I needed to make to be able to save a certain amount of money so that, I could go into business and be able to sustain my bills for the time that it would take me to get the business off the road.
Okay. So calculations, what exactly did you look at to determine how you were going to make that move into entrepreneurship from corporate America?
I just looked at, how much money, I had an IRA, or your 401k, but I transitioned it to an IRA when I left the company. So I looked at the liquidity of that. I had also decided to purchase a home, which was a great investment, for me here in Los Angeles because, the housing market, if it does decide to crash, Los Angeles would probably be an area that would be least impacted, but just because of the demand versus the supply. So I had some equity there. I just looked at, having enough money, and it is a lot of money, but I wanted to have enough to sustain myself for 12 months. Worst case scenario, if you did a good job wherever you work, if it didn't work out, hopefully you could go back. So, I made sure to leave on, fantastic terms. And, just let them know that I was exploring an opportunity to go into business for myself. And then, I had enough money saved up to, sustain myself for 12 months. And then, I was just kind of pending on, worst case scenario. If it didn't work out, I could always go back and, get a job back in corporate America. So the 12-month mark was a savings goal for me. And when I got there, I had enough confidence then, to decide to try to go into business for myself.
And that's excellent. So tell us about your restaurant.
So I own Black House Noho, which is
one of those shirts, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of apparel now. People have really been excited to purchase our apparel, especially with, all the movement about supporting Black businesses. We've got a tremendous amount of support. But the initial, thought around Black House is that, once again, I mentioned that I spent quite a bit of time, 13 years in Atlanta. I'm originally from Mississippi, so my roots are from the South and the East Coast. And so, I felt like the Los Angeles, especially the area that I live in, North Hollywood, did not have an offering that, resembled the culture that I'm so familiar with of being home in the South. And that culture is something that, where you have Southern food. My family is, a lineage of, African American and Creole. So I wanted to bring African American Creole food, also, mixed in with the culture of, the African American culture, where we love to gather and we love to listen to, our music. I say our music, R&B, hip hop, and in a setting where, it's not takeout. It's not something that you just pick up something to go. You actually have a setting where you can sit down and enjoy yourself. So I wanted to bring that to Los Angeles and to North Hollywood, because I felt like, we were very underrepresented in our culture in the food space. And so I began looking for, a space that would give me the opportunity to do that. And so it was really something that I thought the community needed.
No, absolutely. I've been to your restaurant and the food is good. The vibe is great. Um, there's something like you said about going to a place where you kind of feel like you're at home. Thanksgiving dinner. Where you can come and hang out with your friends and your family. And I was in the restaurant business for a couple of years, and I know that it can be a challenge. And so, right now with the pandemic, how are you guys handling that? Are you guys open for takeout? Like, what do people need to do in order to get a taste of soul?
Absolutely. So, we had to shift because, our initial business concept was, 90% for the dining experience. We really wanted to create that at home feel where you can come and sit and, you've got a good vibe, you've got a good music, you have our culture in the building. And then with the pandemic, we had to shift, I say pivot rather, our offering so that we would offer more family friendly things. So we got creative once we closed. We closed on March the 16th, just for a number of reasons. We didn't understand, what was going on and how to best protect our employees. So we just closed so I could get better educated on what, we needed to do to continue operating and keep our employees safe. So during that closure, myself, my general manager, and our marketing team, as well as the chef, we kind of got together remotely and created a new menu that was, designed for takeout friendly and was designed for the family that was at home and needed to still have food, but, was not going to spend, $100 on takeout. So we created some more family friendly. We did family packs. We did jugs of lemonade. We did jugs of tea. We did creative concepts that when you get home, you've got a nice spread that you can feed your family with under $100. And we were very successful with that concept. And it kept us open. And then we went to, the 50%, and that concept rolled right into the success of us being, halfway open. I mean, people were standing outside to sit down. So that extra time gave us time to focus on our delivery and takeout concept. And, we were able to transition that. Currently, at the moment with the new mandates from the state, we're doing dine-in just on our, not dine-in, but the patio seating for outside. Fortunately, we do have a patio, which was one of the big parts of what lease I took on. I wanted to for sure have a patio, and that has paid off because we've been able to keep some seating options open just for patio. And our patio is pretty much full, all 12 hours that we're open every single day. People were, sitting down on the patio. So now we have kind of a diverse platform where we're doing mostly delivery and takeout. And then obviously with being able to sit 6 feet apart on our patio is being able to help us get that additional revenue from, dining.
Man, I love when I talk to my people and they are well spoken and articulate. So I just have to say that, just from this conversation and everyone else that's watching, I really appreciate that. So I have to ask you, what is your background from the educational standpoint? Did you go to college?
I did.
What's the
I did.
background?
I'm from a very poor city in Mississippi. My family, I was one of the first to go to college. My family didn't come from a lot, Mississippi being one of the poorest states. I was extremely talented athletically. I mean, nothing that I can personally say that I did. It was a God given talent. I have twin brothers. And so I played, just like most kids, every single sport that was in season. I played basketball when it was basketball season. I played football when it was football season, and baseball. So I fortunately was able to land several Division I scholarships for basketball and softball. So I took an opportunity to go to the University of Mississippi. Most people know it as Ole Miss. And so I did 4 years at the University of Mississippi on a D1 basketball scholarship. And that's
Nice.
where it
Did
comes
you
from.
know I used to play basketball?
I did know that. I follow you now, so I know that. Yes, and skateboard and snakes and all kinds of things I've learned about you from following you. That I'm not gonna say I couldn't put it past you, because as much as you can give me a compliment, I feel just as much to give you one. And how
I
diverse
appreciate
you
that.
are from a business standpoint, as another African American business female, somebody that I look up to and looking forward to learning more from you.
Oh no. I mean, that goes definitely both ways. That's why I asked you to come on the show. I'm just extremely impressed at how you do business. I've seen your contracts. I mean, you are just from A to Z. And something said, you gotta ask her, like, did she get her degree in business or like marketing? What there's something there. I don't know if it's a combination of the life experience and the education, but
Probably
something
that.
there. And again, from someone that talks to a lot of people, I appreciate that. And I'm always looking for people that do not mind sharing their knowledge and,
Absolutely.
helping other people out. Because I think as a culture, and I'm not even going to say black people because it's not black people, it's just culturally all the way around, people that are doing really well, even halfway well, don't like to share information.
No.
And for the life of me, I cannot understand it. I have no problem giving people information
Yeah.
because it doesn't hurt me, or at least I don't
No.
think. I don't see anybody as a competition. I'm my competition. If
Absolutely.
I fail at something, it's my fault. Some
Yeah.
way or another, I did it.
Yeah, I contribute that as much to, my grandparents, where, my grandfather was a pastor and a community preacher, and always did a tremendous amount of outreach in the community and was always willing to help. My degree was actually in biology. My initial plan was to go to Georgia State for physical therapy school, but the entrepreneurial spirit was always in me. My grandfather owned a furniture store, couple gas stations, and I worked, I got my first job at 14. So I learned, through a combination of, just experiences and just being, somewhat independent, in the sense of my dad just always, harping that, you're going to have to learn to take care of yourself. And, so those experiences taught me to be able to plan and save money. And as far as just giving back, I agree with you 100%. I'm always willing. I had one of my employees that worked at the restaurant that wanted to start her own restaurant, and I provided every resource, and she wanted to do a soul food concept and wanted to do something similar to my concept. I'm assuming most people would have, felt that as a competitive thing, and maybe, not been as helpful, but I see things the way you do as well. I provided every resource that I could help, with her licenses and anything that I could contribute, because I don't see it that way. I see that, it is more of a responsibility for us that have, been able to put the tools together to establish business, to, to go back and reach back and help other people in our community and in our culture to do the exact same thing. So I feel that responsibility, just back from my grandparents, always, reaching out and helping the community, and looking to uplift us, and not hold us back. So I'm glad I have that in my spirit and in my heart, and I'll continue to do that. And it's a pleasure for me to be a part of the podcast, for sure.
No, I totally appreciate it, and I know other people do as well. And hopefully, the people that I'm speaking about, the ones that really hold that information, like I really want them to look at themselves and try to find why. Anyway, back to what we were saying, that is an extremely important part about business, and I think really about success. Everybody describes success differently. Um, I was told that I'm motivated by money. Probably. There's probably a lot of truth in that, but everyone is motivated differently. But what I do know is that I've always kind of had an issue with people that say, oh, money isn't everything. Well, it's not everything, but what do you do without it?
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I enjoy my family, I enjoy my house, I enjoy traveling, I enjoy things. And unfortunately, things aren't free.
No,
So you have to be motivated by something that's going to allow you to be able to do those things that you love, right?
absolutely. Yes,
So
absolutely.
whatever motivates people to, really hide that information as though to even help someone else is going to take away from them, shame on you. Shame
Yes,
on you. Not you,
absolutely.
because you're
They will not take away from you.
right.
It'll just add
No,
to it'll add to the substance of the things that you're doing. I think, when you look at, finances, that's one substance. Hopefully, it spiritually is a substance. And, your commitment to the community and your culture is another part of that substance. And for me, the substance isn't complete if I'm only doing it just for myself. Because the people that you have an opportunity to share it with, I'd be at your family, and other people that could benefit from the resources and the knowledge that you have adds to the substance of what I can, consider to be well-rounded success. So just the financial part of it, yes, we do need it. We all got to pay bills. We live in the, most expensive state in the United States. I think outside of New York and DC, I think we're in the top three. So you definitely can't stay here for free. But I think you will feel more full when you decide to reach out and help other people. At least I do.
and something else that I've noticed is every single time, and I kid you not, when I say every time I have assisted, reached out, helped someone else, it came back to me.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
mean, like to the point where I kid you not, someone needed something and it was, monetary. And I gave it to them. And I kid you not, I got 2 checks in the mail that week. Now, that could have just been a heck of a coincidence. But
Right.
my point is, I actually gave someone something and the exact same thing came right back to me. And it was not expected. It was a surprise. And it was like,
Whoa. Right. Yeah, I mean, I opened Black House, and I met our mutual friend that we have from that establishment. And so I don't believe as much in luck. I think that me being able to have that establishment, and it I didn't know people that walk through the door, but people that walk through the door, I've been able to connect and build additional business opportunities from that. So I see it full circle. I do. I don't believe in luck. I think when you do those things and you do it the right way and you do it with a whole heart and you do it with the right intention, it 100%. That's been the story of my life. I don't think that my life, I cannot speak for anybody else's, but my life doesn't work for me being selfish. My life works for me being humble, being, a resource, and being, somebody that people can come to, because I don't think things are going to go in my favor if I don't. And that's just something I personally believe.
no, absolutely. So I'm going to go back to
Okay.
something you said a little bit earlier. You talked about your ability to save.
Mm-hmm.
How does someone do that? How do you save to be able to kind of have your own thing? I mean, like that's a significant part of saving, and there's a lot of people that they don't feel that they can afford to save because everything is spent. So, without going into great detail and numerically, how do you go about doing that?
One of my I just say a philosophy of mine or a thought of mine, is that everything that you're spending money on that you don't need is going to be there when you get the money that you do. And that's something that I go through phases, and I'm in a phase of my life right now where I'm not spending money on nothing extra because, I'm in a business expansion opportunity. So I'm not, everything that you're spending money on that you don't need will be there. And my thought that I always tell myself is that not only is it going to be there, but then you get to enjoy it at a different level when you have the money that you can do it. So if you're half doing it or doing it when you're not supposed to do it or spending money on things that you should be saving money, you have that enjoyment, but it's like a little bit of anxiety with it. It's like I can spend it, but deep down that you're really not supposed to, so you don't have the full enjoyment. So I personally have, just a stronger mindset to say, I don't, my friends could reach out to me and say, hey, you want to go to this club or you want to go out to eat here, you want to go out to eat there. And I mean, Ralph's got food. I would just go to the grocery store, and get the necessities because I have a goal in mind. So I always keep this good old booklet right here. You know what I'm saying? I write, all of my goals and things down. I live by this thing. And, when I set myself a goal, I'm really relentless about it, and I will turn down everything and everybody that isn't in line with that. And, you have to just mentally prepare yourself for that, because, when you're setting your mind to accomplish something, being a Christian, I always say that the devil is going to send things your way. He's going to send things that are really appeasing, and people are going to Vegas and they're going to do this and they're doing this, and all these things cost money, and you want to do it and you want to be a part of it, but it's hard. But you just got to say no, that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit what I'm trying to do right now. And then when you accomplish your goal and then you decide to go travel or purchase something or buy yourself something, man, the feeling is just a different feeling, because you worked for it, you've earned it, and now it just feels good to be able to do something like that versus doing it when you know that your goals are being sacrificed for that. And I think that's the biggest point that I could, try to encourage somebody that is wanting to say, really just get some discipline. The discipline is the most important thing. It's like, I don't need, yeah, I want to buy some new clothes and all of this stuff, but we in quarantine, why am I going to buy stuff like that right now? And, there's nowhere to even go. So it's like little stuff like that. People are still purchasing things that, they don't need. And that just is a matter of discipline. And the people that are most disciplined will further their goals and be able to, take advantage of the opportunities when they come along.
Man, discipline, boy, that is a heck of a word right there. And it is so tempting to do other
It's very
things.
tempting.
Oh, man, I get it. I get it.
Very tempting for sure. It's
And
very tempting. But I
right,
don't have a problem saying no. So no is a good word for me. No, no,
what's
no.
up with you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Scorpios, but I was thinking about no. I've always had a reputation of saying no myself.
No, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I can't go, and it's like, you just have to be, stern and nice. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fit. And, the discipline and the ability to say no will help a lot of people get closer to the things that they want to do.
I'm going to steal that quote from you. If it doesn't align with my goals, what did you say? Finish it for me. If it doesn't align with my goals or something.
Or the things that, if it doesn't align with my goals or the things that I have planned for myself, I just exit out. It's not, I don't do it. And the things that I want to do, when I do have the money to do it, I just enjoy a little bit more fuller than if, I did it sacrificing my goals. And I just don't make the compromise. It's not a compromise for me. I don't compromise on my goals, and I don't compromise on the things that I set for myself. And anything that's around it that doesn't, and that's people, that's opportunities, that's places, that's fun. I just immediately can tell and I don't have to be your friend. If you got to be a party turn up friend and I'm not in the turn up phase of my life, then we can't be friends right now. We have to circle back to that friendship a little bit later, a little bit later, but not right now, because I'm not I go through turn up phases in my life, where I want to go travel outside the country and do different things. And I'm excited to get back to that. But right now I'm focused on certain things that, are more important, and I just don't compromise.
Now, I love that about you. And I can hear you right now telling someone, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun, but I can't do it right now. If that interferes with our friendship, I understand. Do what you got to do. I'll be here if you change your mind.
No hard feelings.
I get it.
Yeah. No hard feelings. No hard feelings at all. I had to do that over the July the 4th weekend. I had some friends in town, and I was happy to see them, and I did see them. I saw them at the house, and then they wanted to go do a ton of other things.
Take them to see LA, right?
The beach that's free. All of the things that are free. My restaurant that's free to me. All the things that are within the budgets that I set for myself during this time. And they went and did 10 other things. And I was, looking at the Instagrams and commenting on the pictures and have a fantastic time. But it just is not in line with the goals I have at this moment. And there's no hard feelings. I want you to have as much fun as you want to have. I'm just not participating.
And that's pretty admirable. That is not something that you hear very often. Most people have a hard time saying no.
Yeah,
and most people get sucked into other people's feelings and downfalls and and their issues instead of looking out for themselves. And one thing that I had to learn a long time ago is I'm not good. Nobody else that I associate with is going to be good if they're dependent on me. I got to make sure I'm okay, so I can make sure everybody else is okay. Outside of that, whew, man. So where can people find you, TC?
All right, so I'm in North Hollywood, on the corner of Victory and Lancashire, right when you get off the 170. The address is 11671 Victory Boulevard. It's pretty easy to find. Black House Noho. It's in a very, congested business area. But if you were to Google soul food in a 20-mile radius, we probably come up first because we are one of the few soul food offerings. But we're right in the heart of North Hollywood, not too far from where I live. I love the area. It's one of the areas that, has a tremendous amount of potential. It wasn't, historically the best area, but I think our food offering there has brought a lot of brightness to the neighborhood. And anybody that's watching this, we would love to have you as a new customer and a new guest. Sure. Oh, no worries. It's 11671 Victory Boulevard in North Hollywood. It's right off the corner of Victory and Lancashire. As soon as you get off the 170 North on Victory, you make a right, and you can't miss us. We're right next to El Pollo Loco, right in the back door. And it's, like I said, a pretty, congested area. And if you were looking for us and Yelped us or Googled us and you just put in soul food, you find us.
Nice. That's an easy way to find you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming on Business Bullish today. We appreciate it. We will follow up with you. I know you got some other things cooking.
Absolutely.
So we will keep in touch and make sure that we spread the good feelings of accomplishment. I'm very proud of you again. Happy to have you on the show. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.